So, Euphoria season 3 has officially reached the point where it feels like the show is actively daring the internet to get angry every single week. And honestly, episode 5 might be the clearest example yet. Sydney Sweeney's latest Casey scene isn't just shocking for the sake of being shocking, it almost feels like the show is intentionally trolling viewers, critics, and social media all at the same time. At this point, Casey's entire season 3 storyline has basically transformed into a non stop cycle of increasingly extreme viral moments. It started with the controversial pet play scenes in the premiere, escalated into bizarre online content involving humiliating roleplay and fetish material, and now episode 5 pushes things into complete absurdity with a giant fantasy sequence where Casey literally becomes skyscraper-sized figure terrorizing Los Angeles. It's one of the wildest scenes Euphoria has ever attempted, and considering the show's history, that's saying a lot. But the important thing here is that the scene isn't random. The entire point seems to be provoking audience on purpose. The show practically breaks the fourth wall with how exaggerated everything has become. Casey's giant hallucination sequence, complete with over the top imagery and surreal destruction, feels less like storytelling and more like Sam Levinson openly testing how far he can push controversy before audiences finally stop reacting. And honestly, it's working perfectly. Every single week clips from Euphoria explode online. People debate whether the show is genius or exploitative, whether it's artistic comment or pure shock value, and whether Sydney Sweeney has been used as the centerpiece of constant outrage marketing. Episode 5 almost turns that conversation into the actual joke itself. The giant Casey scene is so absurd that it feels intentionally designed to generate headlines, memes, TikToks, and angry think pieces within minutes of release. What makes this even more obvious is how closely the show mirrors Sydney Sweeney's real life internet persona. The article points out that Casey's rise as an online figure inside the show starts echoing the real world controversies surrounding Sweeney herself, from political discourse online to viral marketing controversies and internet obsession with her image. Euphoria seems fully aware of how audience already consume Sydney Sweeney in real life. Instead of avoiding that conversation, the show leans directly into it. That's what makes season 3 feel different from earlier season. In season 1 and 2, Euphoria balanced provocative content with actual emotional depth and character exploration. The shocking scenes usually reveal something painful about the characters underneath all the chaos. Rue's addiction, Jules' identity crisis, Nate's violence, Casey's emotional instability, all of it served a deeper purpose even when the content became uncomfortable. But now season 3 sometimes feel like the shock itself has become the entire point. Casey's storyline still technically revolves around her desperate need for male validation and attention, but the emotional nuance behind it feels increasingly buried under layers of spectacle and internet weight. Every episode seems determined to top the previous one with a more outrageous scene, a more bizarre fetish reference, or a more viral visual moment. Instead of naturally developing Casey's character, the show almost treats her like a walking controversy machine. And to be fair, Sydney Sweeney fully commits to the material. That's part of why these scenes continue dominating online conversation. No matter how ridiculous things become, she performs every scene with complete seriousness and intensity. According to interviews mentioned in the article, Sweeney herself even encouraged the creative team to grow crazier this season, which honestly explains a lot about the direction the show has taken. The problem is that the constant escalation eventually creates numbness. When every episode is trying to outshock the previous one, the emotional impact starts disappearing. Instead of viewers focusing on Casey's psychological decline, most discussion now revolve around whether the insane thing the show decide to include this week. That's probably why many critics feels Euphoria has crossed the line from provocative storytelling into self-parody. Ironically, the article makes a really smart point near the end. The only way Euphoria could genuinely surprise audience now might actually be by becoming subtle again. The show has spent so much time escalating its controversy level that normal emotional storytelling would probably feel more shocking at this point than another viral fantasy sequence. Still, whether people love it or hate it, Euphoria season 3 has mastered one thing better than almost any show on television right now: controlling online conversation. Every episode becomes an internet event within hours, and episode 5 proves that creators know exactly what they are doing. The outrage, the memes, the debates, and endless social media reaction aren't side effects anymore, they are the strategy. Thank you for